The Kevin Durant experiment in Brooklyn is coming to an end. Kevin Durant made a phone call to the owner of the Brooklyn Nets this morning, reportedly, and told Joe Tsai that he would like to be traded out of Brooklyn. And it looks like he's got his eyes set on Phoenix, as Miami is also another team involved in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. With free agency just 3 hours away, Kevin Durant has taken over the day. You heard me, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Durant has demanded a trade out of Brooklyn. Oh, boy. In my Shannon Sharp voice, whoo, what does that mean for the league? It means everybody has shifted, all right? It's cool. Maybe you got your mind on a few free agents as free agency nears at 6 p.m. Let's just take a second to think, what can I put together to go acquire one of the 15 greatest basketball players of all time in Kevin Durant? That's what's happening right now in the NBA. A monster day for a league that never ceases to amaze me, not just in season, but definitely in the offseason. Kevin Durant has demanded a trade out of Brooklyn. We don't know a lot, but here's what I believe to be true. Kevin Durant was not happy about the Kyrie Irving saga, specifically this offseason. What do you mean by that? You know, Kyrie Irving tried his best to gain some leverage with the Brooklyn Nets before he ended up opting into his contract in efforts to get a long-term deal with Brooklyn. In that scenario, though, he had to make things get a little ugly with Brooklyn. He had to let it be known that he had interest in playing with the Los Angeles Lakers. He had to say, hey, I might leave Brooklyn altogether and go play for the Clippers somewhere else. I'm open to New York. I'm open to Philadelphia. I'm open to other scenarios. And with all that going on, all we saw was Kevin Durant on social media chilling, tweeting at Skip, Stephen A., and Shannon Sharp, but not a lot of chatter about his own future. Kevin Durant just signed a 4-year, $198 million deal with the Brooklyn Nets back in August of last year, and it looks like he won't play a day in that new contract as a Net. The Nets are going to acquiesce to this. According to Woj at ESPN, Sean Marks, the GM of the Brooklyn, is working with Kevin Durant's businessman, Rich Kleiman, in efforts to try to figure out a trade that makes sense for both sides. I'm sorry, I'm in my excitement broadcast voice because there's reason to be excited. One of the best players going right now is about to get traded. It's wild times in the association. Here's the thing. I think Kevin Durant had enough of Kyrie, and I'm happy for KD. You went to Brooklyn. You claimed that you both wanted to go to Brooklyn coming off your torn Achilles. I don't believe that. I believe Kevin Durant wanted to go down the street to New York City and be a Knick. He said they both wanted to go to Brooklyn. Kevin Durant's obviously out for year one. Kyrie looked good when he did play for the Nets in year one. Year two, KD and Kyrie, they get together. They try to go for this thing. They fall short in the second round of the playoffs. Year three, they get swept by the Boston Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. They're going backwards. James Harden bounced up out of Brooklyn. It seems to be one thing's remaining consistent with Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn and Kyrie Irving in Boston and towards the latter part of Kyrie Irving in Cleveland. He can't work with anybody. LeBron got one great year out of Kyrie Irving and was able to win a championship in 2016. But other than that, you put young stars, you put older stars, you put whatever around Kyrie, and at the end of the day, it seems like either he's running away from them or they're running away from him. But the one consistent remains KD. And I hate that KD had to waste 3-4 years of his prime in Brooklyn. But we are what we are. I'm happy that he said, nah, even though Kyrie Irving has opted into his contract, I'm not staying here for next year. Kyrie made it seem like he was throwing KD a bone by giving him one last year to honor his contract. KD like, yo, I'm KD. All due respect to you Kyrie, but I'm KD. Let's change who really runs things around here, who's really got the leverage. Reportedly, KD and Kyrie have not communicated since Kyrie opted into his deal. KD's like, I don't got to deal with this. I'm Kevin Durant. Y'all know who I am. He's now calling the shots, gaining leverage, and saying, get me the heck away from Kyrie and Brooklyn. I believe he's trying to get to Phoenix in the worst way. If that were to happen, it'll likely be a trade surrounding DeAndre Ayton, and a new big three will form in Arizona. which would comprise of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. That's where I believe KD's trying to force his hand to. I believe he liked to be in Phoenix a lot more than Miami. But like I said previously, Miami is trying their best to get their hands on KD. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of other teams in the next 12 to 24 hours that make phone calls to Brooklyn. Yo, I'll give you him, and him to get KD here. That is breaking news out of the NBA. Kevin Durant demands a trade out of Brooklyn, and it looks like the Nets are going to give him just that. We got all the time in the world to discuss this in great and more detail. I do want to say this. There's going to be another collective bargaining agreement with the NBA Players Association and the owners really, really soon. And all this, I signed a contract, and I don't even want to play a game in that contract. Like it's getting ridiculous now. Kevin Durant signed a new contract last August, 4 years, 198 with Brooklyn. He was still in the end of his last contract, his previous contract. He has yet to play a day in that 4 years, $198 million contract that kicks in next season. But he demanded a trade out. But he was smart. The new NBA, if you're talented enough, if you're great enough, if you can get that max deal, get the most money with the team that you play for, and then demand a trade, try to force their hand, but still keep that capital. You get the max money, the most money that you can get with the team that owns your bird rights, and then say, I don't want to play for you guys like a year later. We're at the point now where Kevin Durant signed a contract that he will likely never play a game in Brooklyn, the team that gave him the 4 years, 198. The owners are going to have their way with that next CBA. That's my word. I promise you that. This is not going to keep happening to them. They're not going to keep giving away money to players and players just saying, nah, I don't want to do this no more. I'm good. Trade me. I'm not playing with you guys anymore. Trade me. Kevin Durant demands out of Brooklyn. Woo, what a story out the NBA.